Cougar Sports Saturday rolls on. Big thanks to Fran Fraschilla. Love hearing him talk Big 12 and BYU basketball. Mitch Harper, Nate Slack with you. Nate, it's hard to believe BYU basketball tips off the season on Monday night.
It's crazy. It's gone by so fast. It feels like just a couple weeks ago we were watching BYU play in the Sweet 16 against Alabama and just seeing Alabama bang three after three after three. But it's super quick offseason.
And to that point, too, it in some respects, it feels like yesterday when AJ was on ESPN, AJ DiBonsa, saying he's committed to BYU. That was last December. And fast forward 11 months, and now the moment is here. We are going to see a BYU basketball team with the number one recruit in the country. You're going to see a BYU basketball team with a returning first-team All-Big 12 performer in Richie Saunders. You're going to see one of the best point guards in the sport on this roster in Rob Wright. Keba Keita, who's a veteran, a leader of this team. What a roster. I mean, I think that, and I'm glad that Fran brought that national perspective, because sometimes I look at it from the lens of just BYU and I go, wow, there's nothing that holds them back. I still believe, though, from a personnel standpoint, that there's no one in the sport that just outclasses BYU. And I think that's what's so exciting going into a BYU basketball season, is that there's no one in college basketball where you say, how can BYU hang with them? Like, no, it's just a matter of, operating the way that you do things at a high level. You're going to have a chance. And I'm so excited to see how this season plays out. I'm kind of wondering when the adversity is going to hit for this team, because I'm sure there'll be stretches where, they might have a 2-game losing skid because the schedule's tough. 3-game skid. It could happen. But I think that this team has everything in front of them where they could truly, Nate, make a run and maybe be the first BYU team ever to reach the Final Four. I think that's possible for this team. At least they're in the mix starting off a college basketball season, which I don't think you can honestly say going into any BYU basketball season before.
No, and it's because the roster is what you said. It's a different team that BYU has this year. Even looking back at last year, like last year's BYU basketball team was really good, but they didn't have the size and the length and the athleticism that this year's squad has. When I was at the North Carolina game last week with Kyle, we just were watching the team warm up on the court, and it's a different breed of guys. I mean, they were like 6'7", 6. Oh, I should have done that.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it.
But just the length and the athleticism that this team has. When you're seeing AJ throw down the dunks he did against North Carolina last week, and then what I think is going to be one of the biggest surprise, maybe not surprise players this year, but Hadim Mbop,
he's going to be good.
He's going to be awesome, and people aren't really talking about him because all the focus right now is on AJ and Richie and Rob Wright, but Mbop he's such a physical dude, and last week he was like just a relentless motor, and he's got great size. And I'll never forget the picture that was posted from the BYU social media account back in the summer, and he just looked like a ferocious animal. And I just thought, man, that's a dude that you love to have on your team, and you just hate to play against because of the physicality and it's just I'm so excited to see this team play, and I'm excited to see this team play against good teams right out the bat, because last year's non-conference schedule was just kind of it was slow and it wasn't very entertaining, and then you finally play a good team in Providence, and then you get blown out of the gym. And so it's going to be fun to see BYU line up against Villanova right away, and then you got you play Clemson and UConn and Georgetown, and it's going to be an awesome non-conference slate, and I can't wait.
Boop had 7 points in 13 minutes, 3 of 3 from the field against North Carolina. I'm curious, you were there across the street for what's being dubbed the Bad Boy Mower series in Salt Lake City Clash. Again, it's the 3 games played in Salt Lake. It's a branded deal for BYU basketball this season, but what did you learn about that team last week at Carolina? And I ask you because I watched it on stream. I was in Ames watching, and I just feel like there's a different feeling when you're watching in person. What did you learn about that team last week in that matchup against Carolina?
One thing that just stood out to me is historically BYU's always been that team that's known as being a live by the die and die by the 3 team. And that's not the case this year. Like they did not shoot the 3 well at all last
5 of 25.
5 of 25, and it didn't matter. They still beat North Carolina. And I get it's an exhibition game, and even Kevin Young said in the post game, he said the Nebraska exhibition game didn't feel like a real game. This one felt more like a real game. So you're never really sure like what the ideas are going into it. How are they really playing to win? Or are they trying to kind of experiment with different lineups? But the North Carolina head coach in his post-game comments talked about the final play they ran and how they ran the very best play they had. They took their most athletic player. They got him to the hoop just like they wanted to, and he missed his shot. The coach said he missed his shot, but we know Kevin lined up and swatted that ball away. But it's a team that I think is going to be gritty. Back to Hadim Mboop, he's going to be diving all over the floor. You look back at the Houston team last year, and there was that viral video going around on social media of the Houston practice, and players are diving all over for loose balls and just being ferocious on the defensive end. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. There's been a lot of talk about BYU offensively and how they're going to be an elite offensive team, but I think the defense is being slept on quite a bit.
I agree. The defense is going to be much improved this year, and I think also, too, that DeBonsa, I thought Fran Fraschilla made a good point. If you need him to give you 30, he can get there. He got it done against Nebraska in the loss. But in other nights, if he only needs 12, he's more than enough content with that because he is a very willing passer as well. Against North Carolina, 18 points, 8 boards, only 1 assist, but 6 of 13 from the field. A highly efficient night from DeBonsa. I do want to see Richie Saunders get going. I thought in the 2 exhibition games, his shot was just a little bit off, 4 of 12 against Carolina.
About that?
I mean, I asked Kevin Young about that, and KY just chalked it up to 1 game. I think they're great shooters, but still, I want to see Richie knock it down at a high clip because he is far and away the best shooter on this team. We'll talk more BYU hoops here on the program today. It's Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL Sports.